Blessed in this moment now and every now to come. Come on, you. Come all of us and bless the one who blessed us. Come all of you. Come all of us and bless the one who blessed us.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Welcome to Temple B'nai Or. I've decided this week that I am to be in our Beit Midrash, in our library, our chapel. Wherever you are, if you're at home, if you happen to be in a library or chapel somewhere, you're here with us. We are creating our Temple B'nai Or community all over the world. We are bringing Shabbat in together. Let's welcome each other. If you haven't done so already, say Shabbat Shalom in the chat. If you're coming from somewhere outside of Morristown, tell us where you are. If you're on YouTube, you can do the same. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, everybody. And so let's continue to welcome Shabbat with the lighting of our candles. It's my honor to call tomorrow's Bat Mitzvah, Rebecca Horowitz, with her family to light our Shabbat lights.
Oh, we sing to you. Be gracious to the ones we love and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear our gratitude. Let us light these lights and lead the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Amen.
We continue welcoming Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem. If you have a prayer book at home, if you picked one up from the synagogue, which you are always welcome to do, open on page 24. Otherwise, just direct your eyes to the screen as we chant together Shalom Aleichem, bringing the light of Shabbat, the light of our candles, the light of the celebration of Rebecca's Bat Mitzvah in the morning, to this beautiful Shabbat gratitude. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashem, Continue with Kabbalat Shabbat, welcoming Shabbat by singing a new song, which is already like not so new. We've been singing this melody for about a month now, revving up our energy with joy for the Shabbat.
On page 20 is Lecha Dodi, our poem that personifies Shabbat as a bride. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, come my beloved. I want to read, though, a version that the poet Marcia Falk writes. She changes it a bit. L'chu re'ot likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabla. L'chu re'im likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabla. Let us go, friends, to greet the bride. Let us welcome Shabbat. Let us go, friends, to greet the bride. Let us welcome Shabbat. We're welcoming Shabbat together. We're creating a community of love, a community of re'im and re'ot, a community of friends. As we welcome Shabbat at the end, our last verse, it's tradition to rise and greet Shabbat at the door. So again, I've been asking these last few weeks, what are you pushing out of the door from the week? And what are you welcoming into the door on Shabbat? Is it impatience? Is it anxiety? Is it any kinds of things? If you want to share, please share in our chat box.
Please share. We're going to sing a new melody, but it's new and old. So if you've been to Temple B'nai for many years, then you'll recognize this from some time ago. And if you haven't, you'll recognize this from some time moving forward. השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד, שמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לקראת שבת, לכן נלכה, היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. יאי ליי ליי, יאי ליי לך דובי, יאי ליי לקראת כלה, יאי ליי פני שבת נקרא. stay standing if you have risen for the Baruch Hu with the same melody that we opened tonight. We're going to sing blessings to one another as we are all sources of blessing from one another. Baruch Hu Rabbi, you're muted. Still muted. Okay, so we're going to continue with Ma'ariv HaRavim. And we are on page 30. If you have the prayer book, we read together. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name, ever-living God. May you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים. Please be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Okay, Rabbi is still muted, so I'm going to talk about stuff now. Just kidding, I'm not. I'm going to introduce Michamocha, which is our next prayer, and I'm actually going to go back to another throwback melody, which my Kolot or peeps, which I see some of you here, are going to enjoy. The text is taken from the reading on the prayer book, in the prayer book on page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught. Before ever stood a Sinai foot, that wherever we go, it's eternally just. That there's a better place, a promised land, and that winding way to that promised passes through the wilderness. That there's no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands and marching together. Join me singing, ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. We continue with Hashkivenu. These past couple of weeks we've been using the words from a contemporary setting, asking God to protect us, to embrace us. The words are on page 373, so I'm going to say that so I don't forget. But I want to add that I say usually when I lead services in the house of the mourner, that the Hashkivenu prayer talks about asking God to give us protection, to embrace us under the canopy, the Sukkah Shalom, the Sukkah of peace. And it is our role as a community to embrace one another in times of needs. And for all of you who have come forward and embraced me and my family this week and given us so much love, we are so feeling embraced and loved and grateful in this time of loss and time of difficulty. And I now know, like many of us, I have experienced loss through this time. So I send this prayer to all of you with so much love and gratitude. Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Ufros aleinu, suka shomecha. Ufros aleinu, suka shomecha. One more time, all of us together. Lord, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. And help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps.
Baruch atah Adonai haporeh sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Amen. And amen to Rabbi being back. We continue with the Shamru on page 44. If you have the prayer book, the Torah is the eternal and the infinite reminder to keep Shabbat. How important it is to take a breath. Continue now with the prayers of the Amidah. The section of the Amidah invites us to rise together as one community. We begin together asking God to open up our lips, and we continue each independently with either the prayers that are on the page or the prayers of our hearts. This is also a good moment always to check in with how we're feeling, to check out all of this week at the door. Take a big breath. Put our feet deeply rooted in the ground and extend our spine tall and up, and feel so much gratitude for these finite bodies that we're in. And as I said to the preschool kids this morning, are your bodies working? So I hope all of our bodies are working. Adonai, Shabbat Ufiagi Teinatecha Adonai Shabbat Tiftach Ufiagi Teinatecha Shabbat Tiftach Ufiagi Teinatecha Adonai Shabbat Tiftach Ufiagi Teinatecha thoughts turn to prayers of healing. We are all in need of healing in these days, but we think especially tonight and on Shabbat about Joyce Becker, Larry Benson, Margot Blaustein, Lee Brodwin, Piera Burjo, Tyler Cavill, Caledonia Sorald, Claudia DiCesio, Nicholas DiCesio, Ted Fried, Sally Friedman, Lena Alexandrova Berlovich Hammer, Ray Hyatt, Oliver David Horn, Sammy Iverson, Alan Kadish, Michael Kaplan, Sheila Carner, Gay Clapman, Matthew Croyne, Marva Locke, Rachalea by Ida and David, Joseph Lupkin, Lori Mazzarella, Dr. John Moorcraft, Michael Morrissey, Marcus Phelps, Dr. James Cruden, Judy Ragona, Bubsy Rifkin, David Rifkin, Eileen Reinfleisch, Janice Rosenkrantz, Charlie Rosenthal, Aaron Russo, Yona Rosen, Don Rubin, Jeff Schwartz, Barbara Sabiri, Deb Sabiri, John Sabiri, Bernice Zaid, Anita Swatinsky, Glenn Swatinsky, Marjorie Van Dow, Lisa Wolper, Edie Weinstein, and Jennifer Jan Concerto. As is our custom, I invite you to add names to the chat box, which I see that you are doing now. Thank you so much for adding those names. May we all say those names out loud in our hearts, on our lips, either whispering, and bring goodness and blessing and healing to all of these wonderful people and to us all. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, let's look in need of healing with Refuah Shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of the spirit, and let us say,
A prayer for our country from the Union Prayer Book Sinai edition. God bless this land and all its inhabitants, this land built on foundations we may call our own, pledged to law and freedom, to equality and harmony, haven for the huddled masses yearning to be free, rich in opportunity, beneficiary of our talents and our devotion. In this hour of Thanksgiving, when our hearts overflow with gratitude for the richness of your bounty and your favor, we humbly confess, O God, in the pride of our achievement, of our power and wealth, we all too frequently become arrogant. We avert our eyes and harden our hearts. We are insensitive to the pain of forgotten multitudes excluded from the American dream. Many of our brothers and sisters, Americans all, are still victims of prejudice, suffer deprivation. Opportunity, equality, and justice are for them, even after 2 centuries, still only distant dreams. Help us, O God, to fulfill the promise of America. May we hold our land true to its traditions. Renew in all of us a zeal for justice. Awaken within us compassion, mercy for the hungry and the homeless, so we may enter upon the future with restored vision and dedicated afresh to a proud destiny. Together we say, Amen. Friends, we know we are living in a polarized country. There have been many books written about it, many hot takes on cable news and on websites. Why we are polarized, how we are polarized, where we are polarized, but we know that we are. We are like the twins in Rivka and Rebecca's womb in this week's Torah portion, Toldot. Here's Robert Alter's translation of the Torah. Rebecca conceived, and the children clashed together within her. And she said, "Then why me?" And she went to inquire of the Eternal One. And God said to her, 2 nations in your womb, 2 peoples from your loins shall issue. People over people shall prevail, the elder, the younger slave. The 2 nations our Torah talks about, of course, are Esav and Yaakov, or Esau and Jacob. Esav, the hunter, the man who followed his passions and appetites. Yaakov, the homebody, and as our sages say, the one who studies in yeshiva. The brute and the intellect. The one who works with his hands, and the one who sits at a desk. The simpleton and the elitist. The, quote, heartland and the coast. Is that maybe stretching it too far? I don't know. In our tradition, we of course raise up the ways of Jacob, of Yaakov. His name gets changed to Yisrael, to Israel, to our namesake. We are called the children of Israel. Esau, we write out of the story. Jacob flees from his hairy brother to start his own family, but eventually the 2 do come back together. Esav, our tradition from the time of our rabbis, calls the enemy of the Jewish people, often the church, the Roman Empire or the church. But is that the case in our biblical story, in our Torah portion? Is he so bad? Maybe he's just different than Jacob. He experiences the world differently. About this Torah portion, Rabbi Michael Holtzman writes, so when the Torah pits the 2 sons against each other, we see a story about how rivals compete not only for birthright and blessing, but more importantly for power. Both sides believe they know the right path forward and that the other is wrong. This polarization is not inherently bad. If only a few weeks ago, the Torah had provided Sarah's dissenting viewpoint when God says to Abraham, take your son. That story demonstrates a world without competing ideas. So this week, when we witness the first wells dug in the foundation of a new civilization, the Torah introduces some necessary viewpoint diversity. 2 parties competing for policy supremacy. Before our knees jerk against such friction, we ought to remember that opposing ideas, visions, and perspectives usually yield the most intelligent solutions. Our ancient rabbis called this machloket l'shem shamayim, an argument for the sake of heaven. That they say the ancient school of Hillel and Shammai, the ancient sages, their students would argue about everything, but their families married each other, they would sit at each other's tables, they would keep the opinions of the other school. The Talmud keeps the minority opinion, because the more opinions, the more ideas brings us closer to the truth. But a machloket l'shem shamayim, an argument for the sake of heaven, It's a different kind of argument. It's not just I'm right and you're wrong, I'm right and you're wrong. It's an argument that tries to get closer to the truth because neither side thinks that they have the full truth. We need each other to get there. We can argue our point passionately, we can hold our beliefs passionately, but when we look at the other, look into their eyes, we see the image of God. That's where the argument needs to begin. And this image of God in front of me is helping me get closer to the truth, get closer to God. Yaakov and Esav did not see that in each other. Jacob didn't see the truth of this hunter, this muscular brother. Esav didn't see the truth of the boy who liked to dwell in the tents and study. And so they clashed. Hanan Weissman, who worked in Obama's White House, writes, at its core, an argument for the sake of heaven is one whose objective is not the defeat of the other, but rather the humble embrace of an ultimate truth. It's less about winning an argument and more about solving a problem. What results then is not a destructive end state that extends a divide, but rather a constructive one that bridges a difference. And for those who embrace this values-based form of argument, sofa lehitkayem, the end endures, the truth emerges, the disputant's dignity is preserved, the community is strengthened, it remains whole and progresses from argument to argument, from generation to generation. Friends, there's a lot of pain in America today. And arguments for the sake of heaven does not mean that we have to forgive sins, that we have to forgive others that hurt us, that we have to push away those who have been downcast. No. We have to elevate those voices to be part of this community of argumentation, but we need to hear everybody's voice as a community. Hear the other, really hear the other's voice. Really try to understand their life, their way of getting at the truth. It's a two-way street or a three-way street or a four-way street or a huge superhighway. Machloket l'shem shamayim is not easy, but it's what democracy is based on. It's what finding the truth is based on. Shabbat Shalom. And so, let us begin to finish our service with Aleinu. If you are able, please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בשליט, שלא שם ככלי הארצות, ולא שמנו ככוחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורם עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all, created in your image, become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. V'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom ha'Yeh ושמו אחד ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Forget. We need the slides of the names, please. Okay. We're in the period of Shloshim, the first month of mourning for Naomi Analik, Ellie Dadun, Sandra Haffer-Friedman, Leonard Irwin Sains, and Ann Metelsky. And this week marks the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of Leonard Barnstone, Sam Kaplan, Sherry Altman Eisnitz, Andrew Fisher, Francis Goldstein, Joseph Green, Daniel Hirsch, Bernard Kaplan, Irving Kaufman, Jack Leibowitz, Ronald Levy, Fanny Lowenstein, Charlotte Lubow, Clara Moskowitz, Anna Neiman, Rebecca Noss, Harold S. Oken, Bertha Oliver, Betty Osman, Pearl Pollock, Emily Hertz Rifkin, Magnus Schlesinger, Milton Schlosser, Alan Sedler, Morris Snow, Janet Sobel, Raymond Steinberg, Eleanor Tamaris, Leo Trencher, Lawrence Weiland, and Bernard Zwirling. There are others you're saying Kaddish for. You can say their name out loud. You can put their name in the chat box. Zichanam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. The mourner's Kaddish is on 294. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah. Bi'amad divrach chirute, Yamlich malchute, B'chayachon, B'yomechon, U'v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach, Le'olam olamei amaya. Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitpa'ar, Yitromam, Yitnaseh. Yithadar, Yitalev, Yithalal, Shemei Dekudesha, Brichu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, dami ram bi'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen. Friends, thank you for bearing with my technical difficulties before. Things aren't perfect. So we call that, but this will be perfect. We call back the Horowitz family to lead us in Kiddush.
And before Becca leads us beautifully in Kiddush, which she will, of course, I would like to encourage all of you who are here to stay afterwards for the Oneg, even just to say Shabbat Shalom to us so we can just say hello to you and see your face for a second before you go have awesome Shabbat day. Okay. All right. We're ready. Becca, you're it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishana b'mitzvotav v'rata banu v'shabbat kodesho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lamikra'e kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'harta yotanu Kidashta mikol hamid v'shabbat kodecha v'ahava u'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen.
Amen. L'chaim.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Yeah.
We have voila. Chala. Ready to lead us, Vega?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Mazel
Shabbat
tov.
shalom. Thanks for being with us, Maya.
You're welcome.
Hi, Georgette.